Start, sir.
A very good evening, everyone. My name is Shauradip Odhikari. On the behalf of Modak Trainer Academy, a very warm welcome to all of you. Today, we have gathered here not just for a webinar, but to be a part of a profound conversation, one that addresses heritage management and sustainability, a critical need of the moment. Our heritage is more than just monuments, landscapes, or cultural artifacts. It's the essence of our past, a part of who we are, and an invaluable gift to future generations. Yet, as the world hurtles forward, a lot of these treasures face threats we can no longer ignore. This session is a call to action, a call to protect and preserve while paving the way for a sustainable future. Imagine a world where we actively safeguard our heritage, balancing progress with preservation, tradition with transformation. That's what we are here to explore. How can we manage our precious heritage while ensuring it's passed down responsibly, adapting to modern sustainability standards? This is the critical question of our time, and our expert speaker is here to shed light on these very challenges and solutions. We are fortunate to have with us Dr. Asmita Basu Chatterjee, a true visionary in the field of heritage management. She hasn't only dedicated her career to preserve our world's cultural assets, but also brings innovative approaches to achieve sustainable preservation. She has more than 12 years of teaching experience in reputed B schools in Kolkata, along with industry experience. Currently, she is an assistant professor of finance at Army Institute of Management in Kolkata. She has received her PhD degree in management from NIT Durgapur. Her areas of interest are portfolio management, investment management, and heritage management. She has presented several research papers at different international conferences held in IIM Calcutta, Alia University, Vishwa Bharati University, as well as out of India in Jordan, Stockholm, etc. She has been awarded with the Endowment Fellowship from the University of Calcutta in the year 2014 and 15. She has been awarded as the Best Young Faculty of the Year in 2019 in ICICI New Delhi. She is an executive member of the Society for Heritage, Archaeology and Management, a life member of the Indian Art History Congress, an annual member of the Kolkata Society for Asian Studies, the European Association for Archaeologists, the World Archaeological Congress. She has published a number of research papers in various national and international journals and conferences. She is the editor of the Journal of Heritage, Archaeology and Management. JHAM. She has edited the volume on research methodology, tools, and techniques in social science. So, let's get ready to dive in, ask questions, and live inspired to make a difference. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Asmita Basu Chatterjee, who will guide us through today's discussion on heritage and sustainability, a topic that resonates deeply with the heart of our world, our future.
Thank you, Mr. Shorodip. And at the very beginning, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude towards Mr. Modak and Dr. Gargi De for inviting me today for this particular lecture. And definitely, I would try to take you through a journey as Shorodip has nicely put in. It's something which is very close to our heart, our own rich cultural heritage. And we will see how the two fields they come together, and with modern ideas, with a kind of interdisciplinary approach, how better we can manage our heritage, sustain it for future generations. I would request you if you could allow me to present my PPT.
Ma'am, show your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, we are here to discuss today about heritage management and sustainability, which at present is a very important aspect and a critical need of the moment. So, this particular word, heritage management, nowadays has become a buzzword, and different authors have given different meaning and recognition to this particular aspect of heritage management. And you can see that this particular concept of heritage management, it refers to the fact the cultural resources being managed efficiently and they are uniquely marketed. This particular word marketed has got a lot of significance because it is a particular way to reach the masses, the different people who are not aware of the rich cultural heritage that we have in and around us. Even the local people are not so much aware of the treasures that they have in and around them. So, in the way of ignorance, many a times we are losing on to this cultural heritage, be it some kind of built heritage, monuments, or even the tradition, the artwork, the craftsmanship. All these, with time, we may lose if we do not take adequate steps at present. So, the cultural resource management CRM is a particular aspect, a part of heritage management, and it is concerned mainly with the traditional and the historic cultural heritages. It also deals with the material culture, the archaeological sites, the heritage sites, and how best we can preserve these cultures. Cultural resource management tells us how, in a progressive and innovative manner, we can manage these heritage resources, which are nothing but our treasure trove. And in both form of the cultural assets that we have, be it physical assets, as I have mentioned, we will see throughout this particular discussion that both the aspects, I will try to bring out the essence of heritage management in a very well known and very familiar district, which is very close to our heart also. How both the aspects, the physical assets, the historic monuments are very, very vital aspects of that particular region's heritage, while the intangible cultural heritage, including the folklores, the traditions, the art and crafts of that region, is also a very vital part of this heritage management. So, this cultural tourism nowadays you will find is a significant sector of tourism, because initially a long time back people used to go for different places to visit just to relax and have a leisure time. So leisure tourism was very much prevalent. But now, if you see, more or less, people are very much attracted towards those regions where they can have a feel of the local culture, the local traditions, the food, the different cultural heritage sites in and around that place. So it is an overall experience that a person will have during his visit or her visit to that particular region. Various concepts are being developed, various marketing strategies from the management point of view we see, which are there in the tourism industries, which are highlighting the cultural tourism of a particular region. Now, the built heritage and sustainability, as sustainability is also a key word now, because not only with the present generation, but the heritages that we have must be preserved for the future generations. So UNESCO's convention in 1972 concerning the protection of the world cultural and natural heritage mentions, considering that deterioration or disappearance of any item of the cultural or natural heritage constitutes a harmful impoverishment of the heritage of all the nations of the world. So, this is the concern, that if there is deterioration, disappearance of the cultural heritage or natural heritage, it will bring an impact on the overall heritage of the entire world. So, it is important that these heritage sites are protected, preserved, since they serve as a nation's wealth. And sustainable management may include promoting adaptive uses of heritage places and give a platform for the intangible cultural heritages. So, UNESCO's protection and development guidelines is all about how to preserve these particular heritage sites. And if you see, there are guidelines given in 2012, which summarizes the basic understanding of the World Heritage Sites by all the interested parties, cooperation between different stakeholders. There should be clear system involving planning, implementing and monitoring the condition of the World Heritage Site, evaluation and feedback, which will also include effective monitoring of the changes and the proposed actions. So we will see how these particular guidelines given by UNESCO can be further dealt by the heritage management principles, intermingling it with the strategic management principles which we often use in the business world or management scenarios. And of course, securing necessary funds, because that is also required when we are thinking about maintaining these sites, protecting these sites. Also, you might come across another important body, ICOMOS, the International Council on Monuments and Sites, and it is also UNESCO's kind of associate body, you can say, and they are also in charge of preserving cultural monuments and sites, and they evaluate and prepare information regarding the cultural heritage, mixed heritage, integral world heritage, and they provide advice for preserving, renovating the monuments. And also they keep a constant monitoring on the different changes, and they always look up to the sustainability of such sites. Now, why do we need heritage management? That is the basic question. Because there are different disciplines, domains, which are associated with this particular field. That is for managing the heritages, for preservations. The archaeologists are working very hard. There are preservationists, there are conservationists. Then what is the need of a separate discipline called heritage management? I would say that it is not a separate discipline, but it is a discipline which connects all the other disciplines. And it brings together all the people who can be very essential. Guidance can be given by them, and they would be the people who would take the necessary steps required for sustainability of the heritage sites. So along with archaeologists, conservationists, preservationists, and um, other professionals in this discipline, management professionals are also very, very important, because the management professionals are actually well, they are efficiently able to manage these different heritage sites, and they have different kind of planning, strategic planning, which can be used for the better management of the heritage sites. So the basic question which lies, you can see, how can we balance the contemporary needs of the local community and the wider society connected to the recent global concepts with the help of management principles and the archaeological resources. So, to find the answer to this question, we need to analyze the heritage resources in the light of the strategic management principles. And in this particular strategic management, we as management professionals, we try to provide different aspects of a solution to the problem in hand. So the foremost of the challenges being how to strategically manage the sustainable development. So for that, we must have a strategic plan, and definitely step by step, we can attain the different goals that are being set. So as I have said, the steps that are involved in strategic management, there are three basic steps. Step one, objective of the strategic goal setting, strategic planning, strategy formulation, and third step would be strategy implementation. So there would be a particular objective or a goal towards which we have to work together. For obtaining or reaching that goal, we need to have a foolproof plan. So a strategic plan is required, and different parameters and factors should be taken into consideration while making this particular plan. So that comes under strategy formulation, and which will differ from one particular heritage site to another, from one aspect of a local region to another, different set of factors which are available in another region. And third would be the implementation of the strategy. Now, another important tool for heritage management would be the SWOT analysis. We analyze the four aspects of the region. This SWOT analysis is a very common practice when we look at a business house or a company. So for the management professionals, the SWOT analysis is a very primary step, you can say. So similar SWOT analysis, the four aspects would be: S indicates strength, W indicates weakness, O indicates opportunities, and T indicates threats. So these four parameters can be similarly analyzed for a particular heritage site. Now, towards the second part of my discussion, I would show you how I have applied these tools on a particular heritage region and how it has helped me to understand better what are the different aspects of the heritage site. So this is what a SWOT matrix looks like. You can see the four quadrants: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Now, if we talk about the different types of cultural heritage, you will find that cultural heritage can be classified into the three categories: tangible, intangible, and natural. The tangible cultural heritage again can be classified into movable heritage and the immovable heritage. Now, certain examples of cultural heritages you will find under tangible heritage. You have the movable heritage like the paintings, sculptures, furnitures, wall paintings. And under the immovable heritage, you will come across historical buildings, monuments, archaeological sites. Under the intangible cultural heritage, we will come across oral traditions, different folklore, stories, traditional craftsmanship, traditional skills, local knowledge of science, and so on. Now, there are different elements of cultural heritage. So, the cultural heritage and landscape, again, as we have already seen, can be divided into the tangible elements and the intangible elements. Now, the tangible elements may have three versions or three subdivisions depending on its existence. So, the tangible elements may have existed, may have not existed at all, or may have existed but destroyed due to certain reasons. Now, coming to the particular case study, which I will try to show you how I have applied the different aspects of heritage management tools and what understanding I have got, what findings I have got by applying these heritage management tools or particularly the strategic management tools. So the particular region that I have chosen is very close to our heart, the district of Birbhum, the abode of poet, Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, and the rich cultural heritage that is there in this particular region. So Birbhum is a district which is culturally studded with a number of temples and heritage sites. And we will come across the intangible cultural heritage part of Birbhum, which is also very evident and very rich in its nature. So you will find that Birbhum is a land of heritages bearing rich history of different cultures and sects. There are a number of heritage sites in this particular region. So the temples, there are number of temples. If we try to understand the importance of Birbhum, of course, we are all aware that very recently Shantiniketan has been declared as one of the heritage sites by UNESCO. And Apart from Shantiniketan, there are various beautiful heritage sites in and around that region. So I will not be able to show you all of them, but I would be very specific and I would be showing you few very beautiful terracotta temples which are located in and around Birbhum, in and around Shantiniketan, I would say. And you will see that some of the important temple sites which I have selected would be Shupur, Ghurisha, and Joydev Keduli, which are all located on the bank of the Ajay River. All these terracotta temples, they belong to the late medieval period, and they have a lot of um, terracotta embellishments, which through the pictures, and if many of you must have visited Joydev Keduli, I think, is quite famous. And there are other temples which you might have come across during your visit to Shantiniketan or Birbhum. So the temple site of Shupur, the village of Shupur is located on the eastern part of Birbhum district, which is 5 kilometers south of Shantiniketan. In this small village, we come across the twin terracotta Shiva temple, which dates back to 1717 AD. And they have been built on a raised platform. You can see the twin temples at Shupur. And if you can closely look in and around, it is basically housed in a very, congested area. People are residing in and around that temple site only. Very few tourists happen to visit this particular area because they are not so much aware of it. Coming to temple of Ghurisha. Ghurisha is again a small village in the district of Birbhum, lying on the western side. It is around 30 kilometers from Shantiniketan, and there is also a beautiful terracotta temple. This temple is unprotected and privately maintained, and locally it is known as Gopal Mandir. It is also a Ratna temple, and it dates back to 1768 AD. So this is temple at Ghurisha, Gopal Mandir. Now you can see the temple site of Joydev Keduli. I think many of us are aware of Joydev Keduli, and it is the particular place where you have the temple and also a famous fair, a mela, is held every year in that particular region. It is 35 kilometers southwest of Shantiniketan, and it is again a small village located on the bank of Ajay River. It holds great significance because you can understand it is the birthplace of the eminent court poet of King Lakshmana Sena, belonging to Sena dynasty of Bengal during 12th century AD. And there is Navaratna temple known as Radha Vinod temple is housed in this village. This temple is protected by the Archaeological Survey of India. Now, coming to the intangible cultural heritage of Birbhum. So again, West Bengal has a long history of cultural heritage and indigenous people, their history, their art, their culture, their traditions. So the districts of Birbhum, Purulia, Midnapur, they are important seats of indigenous inhabitants and their unique cultural and historical background, distinct from the populations residing in other regions. So we see that Sautals are one of the major tribes or groups of indigenous people who are residing in these districts, and Birbhum definitely is their prime abode. And you will find that Sautal population in West Bengal concentrates in other districts as well. There are different rituals which are performed by these indigenous people, and these rituals revolve around agricultural activities. Their life revolves around the agricultural activities, but slowly, with modernization, with development in and around the regions, people have started to leave their primary activities, primary source of livelihood, and they have moved on with different other activities, different other sources for their livelihood. And they have taken up different other occupations as well. Even though the major activities of the Shautal people revolve around their agricultural activities. So all their rituals, their customs, their folk songs, they are actually part of these different agricultural seasons, different agricultural activities that they have been performing. So you will find there is close association between the agricultural cycle and the rituals and beliefs of the Santhal community. And every stage of the agricultural activities, they have a parallel belief, parallel ritual, and different activities are being held. So this is the Sautal festival list, and you can see the festivals are carried out in different months, and these months are actually relating to one or the other agricultural activities. Like the Baha festival is carried out in the month of February, March, which is Fagun March, offering of the first fruits of mahua tree and other wild fruits and flowers. Then there are Erak Shrim, Hariyar Shrim, and very, very important festival you will come across is the Shohrai festival, which happens in December, January during the Posh March after the paddy has been harvested. The Shohrai is not only a festival, but it is a cultural tradition among the Shautal people. This particular Shohrai festival, in which paintings are considered as one of the most significant part, is a major important event among the community. Shohrai is celebrated in order to pay homage to their gods and their ancestors as a part of thanksgiving for all the agricultural productions, their livestock, their hunting, agricultural implements that they have, and of course for their sustenance and their blessings. So ancestors' blessings are invoked in this particular social ceremony. And as I have mentioned earlier, this particular festival is celebrated in the month of Posh, for Bengali month, that is December and January. The Shantals observe this Shohrai on the last day of the Bengali month Posh, and definitely these activities start long before, the preparation starts long before the actual celebration day. There are different festival rituals. People assemble together in the sacred place and they offer their agricultural tools, plows, they offer their hunting tools, and they worship. As hunting is an integral part of their life, they perform it nowadays in a symbolic manner by drawing certain visuals, pictures on their walls. Each Shautal family offers foods, drinks in honor of their ancestors. Essentially, there are different rituals which are performed during this occasion. And this particular festival brings in the community together. People who are working in other regions, in different parts of the country, they also gather together and they come together and celebrate this festival with their family. And this festival strengthens the unity and social order of the entire tribe. And it may be noted that in this connection, that Shohrai has been a dance form also, and it is being performed during this festival. As I've mentioned that earlier, that the preparation of this festival starts long time before the actual day of celebration in the form of paintings. So the Shautal families, they paint their walls, and mostly the women folk of the family, they are responsible for making these paintings on the outer walls as well as the inner walls of their houses. And there are significant themes of the paintings, and which are also indicative of their celebration, their rituals which are performed during the Sohrai festival. So these are the different villages, Sautal villages, which I had surveyed in and around Shantiniketan. This is the Sautal village entrance where we are getting into the village area. Some of the paintings you will see, these are in the form of Shohrai painting, which is showing the agricultural activities, plowing, harvesting, sowing of seeds. These are where the paintings which are made on the outer walls of the houses. This is the form of the Shohrai dance, which is performed during the festival. So they have also portrayed this as a theme in the painting. As I've mentioned earlier, that hunting has become symbolic nowadays. So they are trying to portray it in the form of paintings. These are different instruments they are using for different activities, for agricultural activities, for fishing activities, which are also becoming part of their Shohrai paintings. This is the lady who has painted this particular picture on her house walls, outer walls, and it is also showing symbolic manner, in a symbolic manner, the hunting activities. This is the form of Shohrai dance, and you can see some pictures of the Shohrai dance along with its representation in the paintings on the outer walls. Now, coming to the sustainability of the tangible and intangible cultural heritages, as I had shown earlier, the SWOT matrix. So I have prepared the SWOT matrix for the temple sites of Birbhum region. So the strengths would be cultural resources, the different heritage monuments, the different types of clay and pottery crafts and other handicrafts. The weaknesses that are present are lack of livelihood for the local people, lack of proper infrastructure and proper market, lack of social and economic development, underdeveloped cultural tourism, although now focus is being given on the development of tourism and of course cultural tourism as well, yet the focus is there in and around the central place of Shantiniketan. The regions which are on the outskirts, they still need uh, more attention. Negligence from certain administrative authorities. Um, Again, opportunities. There are lots of opportunities for developing these regions. High potential for cultural tourism, for local craftsmanship, development of different small scale industries or cottage industries. There is opportunity for development of site museum, again market for the local craftsmen, and employment generation as well. Now, what could be the threats if we are not focusing our attention on these areas right now? Then there would be the threat of losing the cultural resources. There could be damages to these heritage sites. Already the craftsmanship is being lost because many of the people are not continuing with their traditional craftsmanship because it has not got high potential of earning livelihood. So they are leaving those traditional crafts and they are moving on to other employment areas, other careers. Loss of potential industries which could uh, be developed in this particular region as well. Now, as per certain surveys which I had conducted in these particular areas of the Shautal people. You can see the population in Bolpur, Sriniketan. This is the total. You have the total population and the scheduled tribe population in the urban areas and in the rural areas. So you can understand the population in this area is also diminishing with the of the scheduled tribe, because people are migrating from this region. Workers in 4 categories of economic activity in the urban areas of Birbhum district. Yeah, we can see cultivators, we can see agricultural laborers, household industries, and other workers. Then you can see the majority of the people in the rural area are also agricultural laborers. So the household industries are very small. People, number of people are working, be it in urban area or in the rural area. The economic activities of the families in the 7 tribal villages that I had surveyed, you will see primarily it is agricultural activities. Very small concentration is there in case of service industries, other workers, and non-workers. Now, how much these people are living on to their traditions, their language, their cultural heritages. So if you see that in this survey, it came out that the uh, 3 aspects: can read, write, and speak Sautali language is a smaller number of people. The majority of the people can neither read nor write their own language, that is Sautali language. And there is a significant number of people who can only read this particular language. So this tradition of Sautali language in this manner, if it continues, it will also be lost in time. So desire for wearing the traditional dresses, particularly in the time of festival. So festival is the particular place where people come together, they have this social bonding, and that is the time they are trying to connect with their cultural traditions, and hence this desire for wearing the traditional dresses is the highest during the festival times. So knowledge of the people about their festivals and the rituals in the villages which I had surveyed, yes, they are quite aware of their festivals and rituals, and they are very much attached to these rituals. But those who are migrating, so those people are slightly disconnected, and they are slowly moving away from these festivals and rituals. Yet with the family bonding, they try to keep up as much as possible. That is what came out during the survey. So the sustainability of the cultural resources is basically a pattern of resource use which aims to meet human needs, and it also keeps in mind or keeps intact the environment so that the future generations can also avail these particular facilities. And the study reveals that Birbhum has ample number of archaeological sites, cultural heritages, which can be used as a base for sustainable development of the region. And definitely a multidisciplinary approach is required for this particular aspect. So another important factor would be the corporate social responsibility, the CSR, because the companies which are actually um, operating in a society, they need to give back to the society. That is why this particular rule has been formulated, that a percentage of their earning should be spent in the development of the society. So as a norm, the different companies are performing this, but they are not aware exactly how much and where to channelize these funds. So there is a great scope of getting such funding, which will be helpful for maintaining and preserving these particular sites. as I had mentioned. So it is around 2% of the CSR. You can see that the companies are spending, and each year they actually amount to a lot of money. And this has become a part of the Companies Act 2013. So it is a mandatory responsibility which has to be carried out by the companies. So the role of the companies, as I've mentioned, the funding part, because we cannot always depend on the government authorities, because in a country like us where there are numerous heritage sites, you cannot rely only on the government funds, because that won't be sufficient to maintain all these regions. So local people have to arrange for it, have to people who are um, working as enthusiasts in this region can try to bridge the gap, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to deal in this particular segment, that I can create a bridge maybe between the corporates and these heritage sites. Like you can see, the Tata Steel had set up a tribal community in 1990s, particularly in Jharkhand, and it organizes different fairs, different activities. Like Sambad is one of the conclave which is organized in Jamshedpur every year, and they give a platform to the Shautal people to showcase their cultural legacy, their traditions. Even there are companies like NTPC. They are supporting Archaeological Survey of India and the National Cultural Fund for conservation of three identified sites, group of monuments at Mandu, excavated site at Vikramshila, Bihar, and site at Lalitgiri in Orissa. So these are different initiatives which are being taken by the different corporates, and such initiatives are not very common in West Bengal. So there is a lot of scope for attracting these kind of funding, and definitely that will be the critical need of the moment. The cultural resource management will help to protect the cultural resources of the region, of the indigenous communities, and it will try to bridge the gap between the corporates and the heritage enthusiasts, which may lead to a public-private partnership as well, that will promote the economic development of the region, the sustainable development, the preservation and conservation of the heritage sites, of the traditional craftsmanship can also be maintained. And it will be a kind of win-win situation for both the companies and the local people. So at this particular moment, the vital question remains how we can provide sustainability to the cultural resources of these indigenous people without violating their basic human rights to preserve their own culture. For that, we need a holistic approach, and hence heritage management is a key to this particular question, and it is indeed a critical need of the moment. That's all from my side. Thank you for your patient hearing.